Howdy folks, it's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness, and we are going to try to finish up Tannenberg, introductory scenario to Der Weltkrieg. We are on the last part of the 8th turn, the Russian portion. There's only one more turn after that, the 9th turn. So let's see what we can do. Zoom in a bit here. The Germans reinforced over here, and given that that's would be way out of supply from the Russians attacking, and it's forest and urban, just nothing's going to happen there. Not worth trying to do anything. I think we may try to hit this one little unit here, and then the Russians are going to throw everything here at this spot, the salient of the Germans. Throw pretty much everything here, shift a little bit on the line, hoping, I think, if they can get enough damage to make the Germans retreat, the German strike back would only be at double strength instead of tripled, and the Russians are hoping that the net differential, they'll kill more than the Germans. The defense here is, there's 3 and that's a -1, so there's 7, 10. So they could potentially counterattack with a 30 strength if fully supplied, but with 10 strength, the Russians need to generate 5 damage. 5 strength point loss would be half, which would cause the Germans to force to retreat, and then they'd only shoot back at double strength instead of triple. And so with that, 20 points. So right now, the Russians have 30 strength points here. I think, however, let's see. Let's quickly look at the North Front here. Talk about the plans. There's like 7 and 9, and I think that's 7. Like even though the Russians could team up here, this would be in the forest, and there's 9. Even here, the fact that I think there's 14 strength points here, the Germans supplying that, they would be tripled, shooting with 42 back, and with 14 strength points, they would have to do 7 damage. There's no way that they can do that much with the Russians. So I think, and they can only attack 1 square here. This stack here is not as big as it looks. There's like a couple of weak brigades in there. So all total, I think this was like 12 strength points here. So it looks like this will be the target. They can use this cavalry to not allow that to retreat. So they are risking that they're potentially going to lose a cavalry worth 2, but if they can kill 2 German cavalry strength points, so there's 2 morale damage each, and there might be a chance that this guy might not kill anything back, so they could potentially net 4 morale. So I think that's a target that seems worth going for. So that's the current planning of the Russians. Let's execute on that plan. So back down to here. So there's a river here, and so they have to attack across this river. So they will move up here. See, this guy unfortunately can't get to here. That's too much hitting the zone here, and you can't go through the swamp. That would be too much. That would be 3, 6, 7 for the zone. So no, so he can get as far as just there. I think this guy is gonna be on the flank there. So they need to have this, or at least one of these guys attack here to negate the river bonus. Now, I'm going to take one guy from here. Now, I need at least 33 strength points for the Russians attacking here. We'll give them their best chance of causing a retreat, they would need to get to 40 to increase the chance of forcing a retreater by 1/6 more, and they don't have that many strength points. If they can't get to 33, it's all the same down to 27. So 28 or up to 33. So, but the more that they have, the more damage they'll do. But their odds of forcing the Germans to retreat. Now the Germans could still roll low on their tripled counterattack, but if the Russians can make the Germans retreat, then it's much safer for the Russians. They'll take less damage. So we're putting this here from there to allow us to trace the supply. Now these won't be able to trace supply because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, unless we move here. So I think I'm going to remove the headquarters here. In general, it's a little safer to stay out of a zone of control with the headquarters, but the main thing there is like you can't transfer supply out, and I think you can't do the reorg and reinforcement. We're not doing any of that. We haven't had replacements come at next turn, and they're not time to use it because you actually have to have them in the same square units, the replacements on a headquarters that hasn't moved at all. None of those can have moved that turn, and then you do it at the end. So you have to set up for the next turn, and they don't come on until the last turn. So those replacement unit, the replacement division, is totally worthless in this game. It's just not there in time, so they really shouldn't even have included it. But, I mean, it's part of something that you can learn, but you're not really learning it, because the only thing that you could learn is, I can't use it, which, in my mind, is going to be confusing for most people. So, anyway. Yeah, they're going to push more. Well, let's see. Let's push this guy over. Leave a guards here. Come over. Well, yeah. All right. One, 2, 4. No, he can't get there. He can get here. I gotta leave one here. Right? It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 button zone of control 4. And that's across there. So yeah. So they'll step up to there. All right. I'm going to do some stuff here with these cavalry. I'm going to take one of these guys. Oh, nope. There's only one here. Okay. There's a fort there. Well, he could go. Let's see. In case they bust through here, we want at least one. Yeah, we're going to put him there. It's safe. They could only potentially, if they don't, if the Russians succeed in hitting them and advancing, that would be a spot, kind of on a salient, but the units would advance, but the headquarters would stay behind. But do we want to have one cavalry, at least one back here to sort of keep a, well, this is a secondary source of supply or line of communication. I really don't think the Germans have enough. I'm trying to think strategically of, the Russians don't want to get started, don't want those disasters happening. How to maintain your line of communications. Thinking about that all the time can help you avoid disaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy here, and he's going to go. How does this work? 1, 2, 3 across the river. That's clear right there. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can call him march to here. He can't quite get to there. He could over railroad. The Russians have 5 capacity. He's going to use up this single rail line here, but he's gonna entrain is 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's well, he could just go right up to here, or here. Here. That's on the flank. They would retreat back. He'd come down this way anyway. All right. Yeah, he'll come up to here also. All right, this guy here. So they've got, these guys can attack. That's why all these guys are going to attack there. So let's remove that. Sorry for that obfuscation of the screen. So looking up north, this guy here, let's see, potentially these rails through here, I think Russian infantry is going along here, so these are cut, but I don't think they've ever gone in here. So potentially a German could rail like all the way up to here. This is in Germany. This is East Prussia here. And so potentially a German could zip up to here and come back this way, try to do something back here. So I think we'll use this guy to get into this area to put a zone on this to block this rail. This guy can't really get anywhere else. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just right here, because there's a rail to there, to there. I think it's only infantry that actually permanently cuts rail, but at least we'll have zones here, and the Germans can rail into the zone, but then they'd have to detrain, and I think at least that gives a little security on that flank. All right, so the goal here is to attack this guy. Let's see, that's on a big salient. That's going to move to there. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be clear coming, or broken coming across. It's a 1, 4. So this guy can come to there. I'm going to take out, we're going to remember where these are. Those aren't moving. Those are just being repositioned. All right, so I'm going to use this cavalry there. This guy's going to come there. This guy's going to come up there. All right. So we'll move him in. So we've got 9, 13, 14 right now. So a 14 attacking broken. Broken -1. Here. So minimum of 1 damage. If it was 60, so 1 or 2 damage. So 2/3 chance that they could kill it outright. They would have to get all the way up here to 18 strength. Let's see, what do they have underneath here? Oh, it's a 2/4 and a 2/4. Yeah. So potentially they could throw all that in there. German can only attack there. They could attack all there, but that looks pretty good now. There, it's in the woods. Yeah. Well, how many units we got in here? You got your stacking limitation, because that's a full division. So we got, those are all divisions. So 4 divisions, 5 divisions. These are both brigades. All right. So together they're a division equivalent, but that's 6. So they could actually do it. So they can actually get to, whoops, no. He'll move up to there. Yep. All right. So yeah, leave that there. Can't attack there. Could attack there. That's. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that last bit there. Oh, I keep forgetting that. So what I did here, sorry about that, folks, is there was some brigades here. We moved those in. So all totaled in here. We might as well do this attack first, as we're talking about it. So there's 4 strength points in the brigades. That counts as 1 divisional equivalent. You can have 6 divisions in a square. This cavalry, this weak little 1 point, still counts as a stupid division. So that's 5 strength points, 9, And these are all 3s, 6. Wait, did I miscount? Oh, there's 4 here. Wait. Let's do this again. There's 9. Right? 10, 14, 18. Yeah, there we go. All right. So 9, 13 plus 4 is 17, 18 strength points. So the Russians want to supply that. Yeah, they want that full 18. They really do, because that is where rolling a 1 is still 2 damage. So with the -1, that gives them 5/6 chances instead of 4/6 chances of doing it. So they'll pay that extra supply. So they have to pay 4 for the infantry of the first 16 strength points. And then they want that last infantry strength point to not be halved, which would round down. So they have to spend a whole other supply. The cavalry gets to attack for free. Suppose we could try to find one more strength point to throw them, but we're not. We'll just, it's okay. They're getting lowish on supply. They're down at 8, but this is like their next to last attack. You know, they might attack next turn. They might get counterattacked, but that's good enough. So they're going to spend 5 of it. They are spending 5 of it. Yeah, folks. So they're down to 3 supply points left in the first army. That's normally you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't denude yourself so much, but we know that's like there's one more turn after this. So we're gonna, well, let's again look at the odds. The 18 -1 is here. The Germans have 4 strength point. They don't have to pay for it, or 2 strength, two strength cavalry. It'll be tripled to 6. Now this is a weird. In the rules, you may, as the defender, your counterattack is going to either be tripled or doubled if you ignore the supply equation, whether you're supplied fully or not. So you might be full or halved for that. But if you elect to retreat, you're going to only do double on your counterattack instead of triple. If you're forced to retreat, the same thing. I do not think it says what you do if you're eliminated. In a sense, if you're eliminated, obviously you would have had to retreat if you had anything left. So I think it should make sense to say, if you do enough damage that eliminates them or would force them to retreat, you know, they still counterattack back, you know, because it's simultaneous. You don't apply the results until the end, but you know, you're sort of calculating it sequentially in your head. But it doesn't. I don't think it says explicitly that if the stack is eliminated, the defending stack is completely eliminated, that the counterattack would be only double instead of triple. I'm going to play it that way. I'll look at the rules later. But so the thing is, they would have to retreat in. They can't retreat before combat because the Russians include the cavalry. Okay, so they're going to take at least 1 damage minimum. They can't miss. The Russians can't. So in that sense, they would be only shooting back at double, at 4 instead of 6 tripled. But if they're completely eliminated, one can say, well, I didn't retreat, so aren't I tripled? And I think, well, if the damage is overwhelming enough that it would force you to retreat and or die, you should only do a double result instead of a triple. That's what I'm playing. All right, so let us roll some dice, yeah. So we're rolling on the wonderful 18 -1. So on anything but a 1, the German unit will be eliminated. 6. Boy, big overkill. All right, so this will be eliminated. That'll be 4 morale against the Germans. All right, so here they are at 51, going up to 55. The Germans are hitting back on the 4 column with no mod. They don't get a plus. The Russians were getting a minus, but yeah, the Russians would have done 3 damage, potentially, if the stack was big enough. All right, so they're on the 4 column here. So 50-50, they do 1 back. 50-50, 4, 5, 6. 3, no, they fail. So the Russians are continuing to make some incremental gains. They didn't lose anything. They killed that force. So that was a good attack. Now, I don't know if they actually want to advance. I don't think it actually serves any purpose. They don't really have... Let me go back to the front. So I removed the 2 strength cavalry here. We removed the 4 demoralization points over there. They could advance into here. Any of this thing they want to. Do they want to? I don't think so. Well, you know, if they advance with the cavalry, they could threaten to sort of break through and jump on it. Isn't like a headquarters loss worth like 15 morale penalty or 10 or something like that? It's I believe it is. I think. Oh, okay, and of course this organization of these rules, some of these things I can never find. Demoralization points. Each army had 10. Yeah. So, yeah, let's figure out what's a safe stuff to do. They can advance with whatever they want to. They didn't take any losses. They didn't lose the cavalry. All right, let's... Let's go with the... let's leave that there. So there's 10 there. There's 7, 8. Trying to be a little sneaky. Make the Germans spread out, do something. All right, so that was the attacks on that front. They're almost out of supply. Now we're down to over here. Let's do this flanking maneuver here before we do the big battle there. So the 10th Army is actually in range. Now, I believe there's nothing that says you can't draw from... A given unit might be only to draw from 1 headquarters, but that this new 10th Army guy has what, 5 hull weapon stuff. So they're wanting to hit here. This is against 1 strength points, -2 because it's in the woods. What? They only need 10 strength points. There's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So one of these can attack at half. There's 7, 8, 9, and 1 at half is 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That has to trace to here. But either of these could trace from there. So yeah. So yeah. Well, we'll just take 1 out of the... Whoops. Come on, German. Flip back over you. Where was that? Fine. All right. It's going to be 2 out of the 2nd. All right. So 7, 8, 9, And then 1.5 is 10. 10 at -2. No need to roll. The minimum, the best they can do is a 1. The worst they can do is a 1. Because at -2, if you roll a 5 or a 6, which would have been a 2 before, it would be going down to 3 or 4. So it's from there. It's 1. It's only 1. All right. And so the Germans, yeah, you can't retreat and save yourself from 1, because 1/3 of 1 you round to the nearest. So you have to have that 2/3. So he's gonna die, but he's shooting back. He's not anywhere in range. He's not with an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, actually, he is. He's with an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Because you ignore zones and all that, so he can actually take his supply point to be a 2 doubled instead of a half. So he can be executed 4, and that gives him a 50-50 chance of actually doing a damage. So he will spend the 1 strength point from the 8th Army supply, because they're still got loads. Oops. They're still at 57. So, yeah. So he's going to die, and then so this guy here rolling back on the 4 column, 4, 5, or 6 will actually be able to kill 1 strength point back. 4, he does. So that was kind of a wash for the Germans. Oh, Jesus, these things flipping over. All right. So they both crept up. 1 more there. Dunk, dunk. Potentially, it could have been a win. So on the flank, we'll take a loss from him. And then, let's see. So they never moved this guy. They should have moved him. I forgot. Alrighty. Well, it's a good spot to, I don't know. It's still threatening. It's going, meh. All right. Actually, you couldn't see that because I moved it. So they advanced here, took a loss from the 1 brigade here, and these guys went ahead and advanced. So they're keeping this front here. So now they attack here. So again, this was a 7 strength division underneath, -1 on the 8. And a 3 is 10. These strength points all across here. I don't know if I actually added it up. I just sort of threw everyone I could. 13 there. And 11 there. Is that right? There's 2 5s. Normally I put the 5s on the top. Forgot to, with the Russians, I like to put the cards on the top. 13 and 11 is 24. And 9 is 33. Yeah, 33. That's what they needed, right? That was the next point. All right. So they need to spend all that supply. So that's 8, 9. The second army will spend 8 of it, and we'll have to spend 1 of the 10th just for the fun of it. He'll cover that odd point. All right. So 33 with a -1. All right. Here we go. Let's see. Well, now we'll go over here. Well, actually, when I look at this over here first. I definitely need 2 cameras. Have a window. So 33 with a -1. If they roll a 4, 5, or 6, it'll adjust to a 3, 4, 5 on the chart. We 5, 5, or 6 damage. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. That's the possibility. 33 with the -1. There's a 50-50 chance they'll do 5 or more damage, which would cause the Germans to need to retreat. Now, with the retreat, in this case, with a reduction of 1/3, they would actually be able to reduce it by 1. Okay? The actual damage that they took, reducing it by 1/3. 1/3 of 6 is saving 2, and 1/3 of 5 is 1 2/3, which rounds to the nearest. I'm 90% certain that's what it says. It's here. Retreat. Reduce losses. Round fractions of the nearest whole number. Reduced by 1/3 round fraction of the nearest whole number. So if they're causing the retreat of the Germans will take 2 less damage, but they will only counterattack with a 20 strength instead. All right. The Germans could elect to retreat regardless, potentially, but with the 30 strength shooting back, they can do between 3 and 6, while with a 20, they can do between 3 and 4. So it's actually not that good with if the Germans. Yeah, the Germans might want to retreat anyway. I think because they take the less, they don't shoot as much, but with that reducing it by 2 or 1, depending on how big their loss is, and their loss without a minus, their counterattack without a minus. So yeah, okay. Well, the Germans have to pay for their supply. They're definitely going to pay for everything. It's within 8. Remember on a thing. So with on defense for your counterattack, you have to be within 8 movement points. It's for every 2 strength points. And so they need to spend 5 supply. So where was he again? Let's see my arm there. It's under here. I hate these different counters on the same track knocking each other over. I hate that. I really do. I'd rather have separate tracks, or if they were big enough where you didn't stack the counters. I don't know. It's not a good solution in my brain. All right. So they need to spend 5. So they're going down to 52 supply. Because every morale point matters. And if we've been knocking around, who knows how, have I knocked these off in weird stuff. And with this thing, not only could you knock it up and down, but you could knock it this way and be off by 10 or something if you weren't paying attention. I mean, if it was one long track going along the top, at worst, you would knock it off by 1 up or down, not something by 10. So, I don't know. That's a game usability thing that has to be looked at and addressed carefully. So, we're ready to do those rolling. We're ready to roll those dice. So, the German is sitting at 33 with a -1. Looking at that again. 33 -1 between 2 and 6. 4, 5, or 6 with a -1. We'll do 5 or more, which will force the 10 strength points on the German. The Germans, you got to get half to force them to retreat, because they might want to retreat anyway. So let's roll the die and see the result and figure out the math. They roll a 2. A 2 -1. 1 is 3 damage, so they don't have to retreat. 3 damage. If the Germans retreated, they'd only take 2. Okay, so if they shoot without retreating, they'll be shooting at 30. They would do between 3 and 6. They're not getting a modifier in their roll. And that's an average of 4.33, 4 and a third. I figured it out because 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. Okay, with 20 strength over here, if they were retreating, it's between 2 and 4. It's 3. So they they could save 1 loss by retreating, but they would on average only do 3. They on an average kill 4 and a third here. So they have a slightly higher chance of killing like an extra dude. So they'll stay, they'll fight, they won't retreat. So yeah, they're gonna kill 1 more on average, and maybe more 1 and a third. So like literally they could like potentially kill 2 more or whatever. So they're losing 3 instead of 2, and then they're shooting back on the 30 column because they're staying and fighting. On the 30 column, it's 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, depending on what we got. They rolled a 1, so they shoot back and do 3. So it was a draw. Boom, boom, boom. They killed 3 on each side. Each side's going to take 6 morale loss. Bloody World War I. All right, so yeah, 3 up here. And whoops. 3. So at 59 and 60 respectively. We have to reduce these totals. Okay, so he's 7 would be down to a 4. Yeah, if we flip that over, we make the 8 guy have strength. Instead of 7, he's down to 4. So 7. If they've lost 3. Oops. The Russians have so many different units. They just like, I'll find guys to flip over and lose a point. Let's see, 5. Yep. I'll lose 1 out of each hex. Get yourself in there. Oh, urge to kill. Fiddly bits. All right. So, blood and guts. That's 38. I really should stop the video there. I'll try to do another one, try to finish it off, but don't want to make the whole thing too long. So, Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness. That was the end of the Russians' turn. Oh, they had reinforcement. Yeah. Where did that come in? September 3 Russian reinforcements. Wait, what? What? That there is none listed here. Was that supposed to be from a different turn? I am really confused here. What? 59R. September 3. September 4. This unit, what? I'll have to figure this out. Something's totally wrong here. This guy here, oh, you can't see what I'm fiddling with. All right. And this guy here, these here, this guy is supposed to come on this last turn here. with this replacement division. This guy here, the 8th, the 8th Division, you see that in focus. I don't know. Wait, he must have been killed, or I lost, or he started on the board. He was supposed to start on the board in Hex 2018 here. So either he somehow got knocked or was set aside, or he got lost in losses. I don't remember a whole unit being killed. So I don't know. That's the mystery. Wow, I would have to go back and review all the video to figure out what the heck happened with that. Well, that's a mess up. That's something, I don't know what's going on there. So anyway, no reinforcements for Russians this turn, so that's moot. All right, so Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness. It's marching on later into the evening. We will call it quits there, and then I'm going to take a break and then try to do the last turn and get that finished and done so we can put this guy to bed, do an after-action review, all that stuff. So the gap in morale did reduce. This attack here against the German cavalry was very successful. They killed the 2 strength points. Did I do that retreat? Yeah, we generated the result where he could actually kill, would have killed 3. So even by retreating, reducing that by 1, still lost 2. Whereas if we hadn't have got that and they lost 2 reduced by thirds, it does round up to 1, the nearest 2/3. And so he actually would have had 1 strength point left. So they actually did get very lucky, get the best result possible, not losing 1. Their odds of losing 1 was 50-50. They managed to kill 2. And so they went up 4 morale differential there. Down here, they did manage to kill this guy off, but they took 1. And then here they also traded off 3 and 3. So this was a wash. This is like, yeah, painful down here. But that's it. All right, we'll have the German turn coming up, but not on this video. So all you good folks out there, take care and ciao.